This is paragraph 24 of Book 4 of Caesar's De Bello Gallico, which describes Caesar's primary invasion of Britain and his initial difficulties. Aut barbari, but the barbarians, concilio cognito, that's an abab, having perceived the plan or design of the Romans, primiso equitatu et Essidaris, it's also an abab construction. The equitatu et Essidaris is also a bit of alliteration. So having sent out their cavalry and charioteers, genere, a class, there's an implied of soldiers or of warriors because we're talking about a battle, so a class of warriors or soldiers, of whom they are accustomed to make great use in proelis in their battles. So the quo takes the ablative here because it's the object of uti, and following subsecuti, reliquis copiis, it's an ablative of accompaniment, so and following with the rest of their forces, with the remaining forces, endeavored to prevent nostros argais navibus from landing. Erat, a quick note, something I missed, the nostros navibus on the last slide, that's an ablative of separation. Erat, there was summa difficultas, the greatest difficulty of as causas, on account of the following reasons. Quote, namely, naves, namely our ships, propter magnitudinem, on account of their great size, they were not able constitui to be stationed nisi in alto except in deep water. So another way to translate that would be could be stationed only in deep water. So a quick recap. There was the greatest difficulty for the following reasons, namely because our ships, on account of their great size, could be stationed only in deep water, or cannot be stationed except in deep water. Militibus, our soldiers, while our soldiers in ignotis locis, that's an ablative place where in places unknown to them, with their hands bound, oppressed with a large and heavy weight of armor. With the militibus up here is a dative of agent taking place in a future passive periphrastic construction. So we look down here, the deciliendum, constantendum, pugnandum, those are all part of the passive periphrastic conjunction. So, oppressed with a large and heavy weight of armor, they had to, at the same time, they had to do all of these things. It's a polysyndeton. So they had to, at the same time, to leap from the ships, stand in the waves, and encounter the enemy. Cum illi, whereas the other guys, whereas the Germans, out ex arido, whether on dry ground or having advanced a little into the water, omnibus membris expeditis. These are ablative absolutes. So either on dry ground or having advanced a little into the water, free in all their limbs, in places notissimus locis thoroughly known to them, audacter tela coequerent, they could confidently throw their weapons, and incitarent equus insue factos, and spur on their horses insue factos that were accustomed to this kind of service. And the coequerent and incitarent are both subjunctive verbs in a temporal clause. Moving on to the last slide, quibus rebus, nostri perterriti. So our guys, dismayed by these circumstances, and altogether untrained in this mode of battle, did not at all they were not displaying the same vigor and eagerness which they had been accustomed to use proeles in infantry battles, and of course the quo again takes the ablative because of the uti, or excuse me, rather the alacritate and studio take the ablative because of the uti down here. So what Caesar's done in this passage is he's made a lot of comparisons between his guys and the Germans. He's not all about talking about his success. He's also talking about his guys' failures, and we can go ahead and assume that by doing that he can make his successes seem that much more great. All right, happy studying.